Since we humans began using sounds to communicate with each other a few 100,000 years ago, billions of us have acquired the ability to use language. And during that time, we've all learned how in exactly the same way. And this method, which has been used with unparalleled success for as long as language has existed, doesn't include memorizing lists of words, conjugating verbs, or studying syntax. As contradictory as it sounds, we don't initially become native speakers by speaking. We do it by hearing others talk, seeing their facial expressions, watching their body movements, and noticing objects and actions in our environment. Over time, we start associating certain sounds with important people and things in our world. Mama, ball, no, our own name. This ability, the capacity to understand what's being said, is referred to as receptive language, and it always, 100% of the time since the dawn of language, has preceded speaking and writing. It's the natural order. We acquire receptive language, start to understand the power of words, and then we're motivated to imitate those words so we can communicate our own wants and needs. Receptive language leading to expressive language.
Mama!
It's the method that's worked for billions of us, and that's why it's the foundation of instruction at Appleton Bilingual School. So how do we accomplish this? One vital way is by employing an instructional method known as Total Physical Response, TPR. TPR systematically replicates natural language acquisition through the following 4 components. Number 1, emphasizing listening and observing. Number 2, using lots of movement, images, and objects to make what's being presented understandable. Number 3, lowering inhibitions and building confidence. And number 4, creating opportunities for meaningful communication. What does total physical response look like in a classroom? Before any of us tried using words for the first time, we'd already had countless exposures to verbal and nonverbal language. That's exactly what the first component of TPR addresses. Teachers craft lessons that combine verbal instruction with plenty of related nonverbal cues and examples, thus providing the context students need to begin acquiring their second language in the same way as their first, by watching and listening.
Para el lobo y verde para el... Okay, quiero viernes.
TPR's second component, using lots of movement, images, and objects, is essential because it helps students connect what they're hearing with what they're seeing and experiencing. This connection, the one that links concrete to abstract, makes information comprehensible, and comprehension is the foundation of receptive language.
Nosotros vivimos en los Estados Unidos. Y más pequeño, vivimos en el estado Wisconsin. La mano parece como Wisconsin. Okay.
The third component of TPR is dependent on the first two. By listening to and observing information that's presented in an understandable way and without translation, a foundation for truly thinking in another language is begun. And though students can't yet comprehend all of the individual words they're hearing, they do realize they can grasp the essence of what's being communicated. This realization creates excitement, builds confidence, and overpowers inhibition, all of which are essential to learning. As students gain confidence in their receptive language skills, their desire to communicate by using the words they're hearing grows exponentially. That's what the fourth component addresses. TPR usually begins this process with choral repetition in the safety of a large group, then progresses to small group and one-on-one activities, while continuing the emphasis on movement, images, and objects. What makes this especially meaningful, though, is that students aren't just practicing a new language. They're actually using the language to do the heavy lifting of mastering new concepts across all areas of the curriculum. At ABS, we know that acquiring language has everything to do with the overwhelming human drive to communicate and understand, and virtually nothing to do with simply learning a language. Our philosophy is to leverage that drive by using methods that have proven their effectiveness for as long as people have been using language. But don't take our word for it. Make an appointment to visit our classrooms. We'd love to have you experience TPR in action.